So you're landing in spam and you want to get out of that as soon as possible. Watch no further. In this video, I will cover how to get out of the spam folder fast. I will go through some strategies, some segmentations, and everything you need to know. So without further ado, let's start immediately. Welcome to this video on how to go out of the spam folder fast. And this is probably you, 15% open rate on a regular campaign. And then, as I said, this is fine, and this is definitely not fine. So in this video, I will go through everything you need to know when it comes to spam folder, how to get out of it very, very fast. So without further ado, let's jump in. So the first question that you should ask yourself is, are we on a dedicated sending domain? This is kind of required nowadays, so you are probably on it, and if not, then check this. So if you send an email to yourself and it says via sharedklaviyomail.com, you're not on a dedicated sending domain. So definitely move to one, first step. Second step, check domain-specific open rate. So what you can do, you can actually go into your Klaviyo and then into your reports, and then you can check email deliverability by email domain, and then you will see something like that. So for example, you will see Gmail, you will see Yahoo, you will see any other email provider that is one of the main providers that you have, and then you can see the open rate specific to that domain. And for some reason, sometimes you see one of those dip, and if everything is dipping, then you have a general issue, but most of the time you have one specific email domain that is hurt. So for example, here we can see Hotmail being at 42%, which is still kind of fine, but you can see there's a huge difference between Hotmail and, for example, Gmail, Yahoo, which all have 70% up. So then if we see that we have a domain specific issue, or like we have a general issue, we then go into adjust the segments accordingly. So what does this mean? So basically we have to ask ourselves, why are we landing in spam in the first place? And I do have videos that cover that. However, let's recap. So why we're landing in spam? First of all, landing in spam is not a binary thing. It's not like, okay, we land in spam or not. It's more so to what extent are we landing in spam? And it's usually kind of that email providers keep a scorecard of your efforts. So for example, you do a lot of good stuff and people interact with your emails, then you're not landing in spam. And if for whatever reason, maybe you send to a lot of people that are not interacting with your emails or some other reason, you're landing in spam. So we have then, if we think about that, we just have to do good stuff on email. So we have to indicate email providers that, hey, we are a good sender. That's what we call send your reputation. And to increase your sender reputation, there are a few things that you can do. One of them is to send to people who are more likely to open your emails in the first place. Because the more people you send to, and of those people you send to, open your emails, the better. If they click through, even better. If they reply to your emails, even better. If they mark them as important, that's wonderful. So what we do want to do is we adjust the segments we're sending to, because if, for example, we send to 10,000 and just 3,000 open, we have 7,000 people we're sending emails to that literally don't interact with our stuff. So what we should do instead is we should send to 3,000 and maybe like 2,500 open. Or, if we send to 4,000, 3,000 open. You get the point. Basically, we want to increase the percentage of people that we send to that open our stuff. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So how do we do that? Of course we can, drive to each one to their home and tell them to open our emails. But the easier way is to actually send to those people who are already interacting with our emails in the first place. And these are what we call the highly engaged segments. So what we want to do is we want to create highly engaged segments. And if you have a domain specific issue, we want to put together a domain specific highly engaged segment. And this is the segment that we use for that. So for example, we see Hotmail being one of the issues. So what we do is we create a dedicated setup that is called, for example, here, 15 days Hotmail. What someone has done or not done, has opened email at least once in the last 15 days, where email domain equals hotmail.com. Or what someone has done, has clicked emails at least once in the past 15 days, and then they need to be subscribed. So that is the segment that you want to send to. But how do we actually put that into Klaviyo? So you set this segment up, and then you want to use your other engaged segments. So for example, you send to the last 60 days, 90 days, 120 days engaged segment. You then want to, like within the engaged segment that you're usually sending to, you want to exclude every Hotmail user on your list. So you just create a dedicated setup. So this is the segment that we use. As you can see here, properties about someone, email contains Hotmail. That's it. Like, of course you want to have that people have subscribed, but that's like the only thing that we need. And we basically use that as an exclusion segment for our regular campaign. And then what we do, so in theory, if you think about it, we send to our engaged people, but no one of them is on Hotmail because we exclude those people. And then we duplicate this campaign and then send the same campaign to just this highly engaged Hotmail segment. And that way our open rate for Hotmail will skyrocket to like 70–80%, but because we're reducing the engaged filter. And if we push that for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 campaigns, we then increase our stuff here. So for example, we send like 4 campaigns and we get high open rates on the Hotmail campaign. We can then increase it to 30, 45, 60, 90, 120. And then that way we have basically increased our deliverability. So that is the third step. Now let's take a look at the fourth step, because one of the steps was to get out of spam folder fast, right? And if you want to can send like 3, 4, 5, 6 emails, this takes time, right? So what do we want to do as well? We want to go into and send a whitelist instruction campaign. This is something that we leverage a lot during like Black Friday and stuff, and after that, because after that, oftentimes open rates tank, and before that we want to increase our likelihood of ending in the inbox. So what we send out is this giveaway campaign, which is basically mark this email as important and reply with whatever you want to, and you are part of a giveaway. And that way people will reply, and if you get like 100, 200, 300 replies to some of your campaigns, you boosted your deliverability by a lot. That's basically the way how to get out of spam folder fast. We checked our deliverability by email domain. You can also check some other stuff, like for example, you can type in blogapps.com. This is another layer of testing where you're landing in spam. If there's some dedicated specific inboxes that you need to manage, and that's just how it looks like. But basically you check, hey, are we on a dedicated sending domain? Yes, no, should definitely be. You want to check your deliverability by email domain, and then you create segments accordingly, send to only highly engaged people. If you have a crucial major issue on all of the email providers, then we want to send to highly engaged people, or like buyers only 7 days or something like that, and then increase that by the time. And then we want to send those replies and incentivize them. So that's basically the way how to get out of the spam folder fast. I hope this video was of value to you. And I'll see you in the next one. I hope this video was of value to you and you now know how to get out of the spam folder fast. If you want us to handle all of that, make sure to schedule your call with me. There's a link in the description, it gets you to my scheduler. We have a super casual conversation. By the end, you definitely know how to get out of spam and also make a lot of money with your email marketing. Other than that, make sure to check out some of our other videos, and then I see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.